Hey, it's Paul with MakeUseOf.com, and in today's video, we are checking out the HyperX Armada 25. HyperX, which is known for their gaming peripherals, including their headsets, keyboards, and more recently their microphones, is actually expanding their lineup. Back in 2021, HP purchased HyperX, and then they later announced that they're going to be expanding their gaming lineup, which now includes the Armada series of monitors, starting with the Armada 25 and the Armada 27. The Armada 25, which we're reviewing today, is targeted at more competitive gaming with its 24.5-inch 240Hz Full HD display, while the 27-inch Armada 27 has improved picture quality with a QHD HDR400 display, but is only 165Hz. But at $449, the Armada 25 is not cheap, and it faces a lot of competition from similar and even larger size monitors with very similar specs, if not better. So why would you choose this? The Armada 25 does have impressive specs, though at this price point, it's nothing too jaw-dropping. The Armada 25 uses a matte IPS panel with 400 nits of peak brightness, and it supports 95% of the sRGB color gamut. It has 1 millisecond response time, and it supports Nvidia G-Sync 4, which eliminates screen tearing, stuttering, and input lag. Just as with the Armada 27, the 25 has one DisplayPort 1.4 and two HDMI 2.0 ports. The HDMI and DisplayPort cables are included with your purchase, but as this is only HDMI 2 instead of 2.1, it means you won't have full 120Hz support on consoles like the Xbox Series X. Also, as this is only a full HD monitor, performance should be identical regardless if you are using the HDMI or DisplayPort connection. A bigger setback though is the lack of any USB ports or a 3.5mm audio jack, and this can really take away from that streamlined and convenient approach which HyperX is aiming for with these monitors. Now, as someone who primarily uses my monitor to connect to these ports instead of using additional cables or adapters, I could really see this being a potential deal breaker for some users. The Armada 25 looks rather sleek with thin bezels on all four sides of the monitor, with a slightly thicker plastic bottom which has the HyperX logo. This makes it easy to create a dual monitor setup side by side, though the larger bottom bezel might encourage you to flip the monitor upside down if you're planning on stacking these on top of each other, or if you're going for a triple or even a quad monitor setup. On the back right hand side, you'll find a power button as well as a directional OSD menu which controls your usual settings and your picture adjustments. HyperX strongly believes that their new monitors offer added value and convenience for some gamers, which they'll really appreciate. Instead of a traditional stand, the HyperX Armada 25 and Armada 27 are the first gaming monitors to bundle a monitor head and ergonomic arm with their purchase. And while 25-inch and 27-inch monitors typically don't require very large desktop stands, using an arm can help you save additional desktop space and give you a more minimalist look if that's what you're going for. Now in my case, with my rather narrow desk, using the arm made it much easier to use a larger mouse pad and position my keyboard how I liked. In contrast to larger monitors like the MSI MPG Artemis 34CQR, which I recently reviewed, those monitors can make it especially difficult to use your peripherals unless you have a rather deep desk that can accommodate the extra space needed for the monitor's larger and more awkwardly shaped stands. The Armada arm attaches to the back of your desk using the included C-clamp, which is compatible with desks up to 2 inches thick. Though, for larger desks, which are up to 2.4 inches thick, a grommet mount is also included if you don't mind using a more permanent setup that involves drilling out a hole in your desk. With the arm installed, the monitor simply clips to the base of 75 100mm mount and locks in. Similar to other monitor arms, you can adjust the tension to your preference using a flathead screwdriver or Allen wrench. I found the arm's tension to be perfect out of box, and I was effortlessly able to push, raise, rotate the monitor to any position I wanted, including even vertically, and the arm held the monitor in place each time without even a hint of unwanted movement. In addition to the added desk space that you gain for adding peripherals, the Armada arm also helps you properly set your monitor to the correct height to maintain a healthy posture. If you've only ever used a monitor stand, there's a good chance that your monitor is placed too low or high, causing strain on your neck, back, and eyes. If you're able to install the monitor using the desk clamp, I would highly suggest using that over the grommet mount, as this will give you more flexibility to move it around as necessary. Perhaps one of the downsides for some users would be the lack of a traditional stand, which could come in handy if they plan on packing or using the monitor in different areas frequently, for example, LAN parties. With the additional size and weight of the monitor arm, it wouldn't be very practical to pack that up with you. And while you could just easily buy a compatible monitor stand to take on the go instead, that of course would be an additional cost. And for those users with those needs, the Armada series probably isn't the best choice. The HyperX Armada single gaming mount arm retails for $109 on its own, which is priced rather competitively when you compare it to other third-party arms that offer the same build quality and adjustments. And while you can find cheaper options for about $30 to $40 or even less, those are usually just made of plastic instead of metal, as with the Armada arm. I've used a number of cheap plastic monitor arms in the past which claimed to support the weight of my monitor, but ultimately began to sag and lose their strength, or even crack or break when I tried to readjust their tension. Similarly, they often lack the ability to add additional monitors in the future, which would require you to buy an additional arm or upgrade to a larger one which can support more than one monitor. Using the HyperX Armada add-on gaming mount, which costs $79.99, you can have up to 4 25-inch monitors or 2 27-inch monitors mounted to the single gaming mount. And so if you were planning on adding a monitor arm to your setup, you can save yourself the hassle of searching for a compatible desk mount, as HyperX claims, and get a high quality one that can be expanded later right in the box. For right now, this is an advantage to the HyperX Armada series alone, and that, for some users, might make it worth the premium over the competition. For a lot of competitive esports games, a 23 to 25-inch Full HD 240Hz monitor is the sweet spot for size, speed, and fidelity. When hitting 220 to 240 frames per second in games like Overwatch 2, everything felt fluid. With G-Sync, there wasn't any noticeable tearing, and images on screen looked sharp without any blur. At 90 ppi, pixel density isn't necessarily the best, but you'll still be able to read smaller text. While a QHD or 4K monitor will of course be sharper, for smaller monitors that typically sit a little bit closer to your face, you likely won't notice much of a difference. Unlike the Armada 27, VESA Display HDR 400 is not supported with the Armada 25, which although isn't very bright, it can at least give your HDR content more pop. The default display picture looks pretty good, and for most users should have enough contrast and color while still looking very accurate. The Armada 25 will actually have a slightly better contrast ratio than most IPS monitors at 200:1, which is only bested by VA panels. The Armada 25 can be a great choice for competitive gaming. However, for a more everyday monitor which can be effective for content creation as well as other media consumption, you may want to consider a larger option like the Armada 27. While the Armada 27 isn't as fast at just 165Hz, the $50 upgrade does give you more screen size, resolution, and punchier colors, which may be a worthy trade-off for some. Although the included $109 ARM does add a lot of value and benefits, the HyperX Armada 25 is still very expensive even when compared to other monitors in the $300 to $400 price range, and you can easily save over $200 by choosing another cheaper option. In fact, there are several similarly spec'd monitors like the $260 Dell S2522HG, which we reviewed last year, which not only offer very similar performance, but also include several USB ports as well as a headphone jack. Likewise, you can even find larger, curved, faster monitors like the AOC C27G2Z, which has FreeSync and only costs $199. Perhaps, and one can hope, that as the Armada lineup matures, we can see future price drops which make their options more competitive. But at its current price of $450, this is certainly a very premium choice for the added convenience of bundling an ARM in the box. It is exciting to see HyperX expand into the monitor space, and its debut Armada 25 and Armada 27 are definitely great options, but very expensive. If you want a fast, sleek gaming monitor that comes with a very strong and articulate ARM, then the Armada 25 is currently the best and only choice. For the Armada to be a stronger recommendation, in addition to a $100 price drop, I would love to see the addition of USB ports, an audio jack, and maybe even a built-in speaker. So thank you again for checking out this review of the Armada 25. This has been Paul with MakeUseOf.com. Let us know your thoughts on this monitor in the comments down below, and until the next one, we'll catch you later.